Okay, picture this. You just hired a new healthcare professional, only to discover weeks later that their license was actually suspended, and you completely missed it, all because you relied on an outdated paper copy. Honestly, it's a massive liability. So, in this explainer, we're going to make sure that never ever happens to you. We're diving into the critical and surprisingly nuanced process of verifying nurse credentials in the state of Arizona. Taking these steps seriously is going to ensure incredible peace of mind and, honestly, bulletproof credibility for your healthcare organization.
Let's just jump right in with a pretty high-stakes fact. Since September of 2018, the Arizona State Board of Nursing completely stopped issuing physical, hard-copy nursing cards. Yeah, they're gone. That means if someone hands you a printed card today, it is not a valid way to verify their current standing. Digital verification is literally your only legally binding proof. And this brings us to a quote that really hits the nail on the head. The registries stand as the sole legally binding records of practice authorization in the state. You simply cannot rely on old paper records anymore. Using a screenshot or a printout is a huge risk because, well, a license status can change overnight. Mastering this digital verification process isn't just some boring administrative chore. It's absolutely essential for patient safety, professional practice, and organizational risk management.
So, to get you fully up to speed, we'll be following this structured guidebook today. Understanding the basics, choosing the right portal, a step-by-step verification process, leveraging additional healthcare resources, troubleshooting common verification issues, and finally, expert insights and compliance.
Okay, let's start with Section 1, Understanding the Basics, and really, why this verification matters so much. The crucial concept we need to grasp here is primary source verification. Standards set forth by organizations like the Joint Commission actually dictate that you must get this credential information straight from the source. Now, in Arizona, that source is the Arizona State Board of Nursing, or the AZBN. And get this, they update their records every single business day. So relying on third-party verification, it's not just risky, it's flat-out non-compliant.
Verifying directly matters because active licensees are bound by some very strict laws. For example, under Arizona law, specifically ARS 32-1606, individuals with a felony conviction are actually ineligible for licensure unless they've received an absolute discharge at least 3 years prior. On top of that, active nurses must legally disclose any criminal charges within 10 days. If you fail to catch a suspended or revoked license, the medical, legal, and financial consequences for your facility could be, well, catastrophic.
Moving right along to Section 2, choosing the right portal. We really want to avoid the biggest beginner mistake here.
Here is the thing that trips up so many people. Arizona uses a dual system architecture. You absolutely must know the applicant's exact role to choose the correct database. If you're looking up assistive personnel, so think certified nursing assistants, licensed nursing assistants, or certified medication assistants, you use the Arizona State Board of Nursing online verification portal. But if you're verifying a professional nurse, like a registered nurse, a licensed practical nurse, or an advanced practice registered nurse, you have to use the national database known as NURSIS.
You have to choose wisely. If you go to the AZBN portal and search for a registered nurse, you'll get 0 results. None. And you might panic thinking they aren't licensed, when in reality, you're just looking in the wrong database. Knowing this simple dichotomy right off the bat saves you immense time and frustration.
All right, Section 3, the step-by-step verification process for navigating the AZBN portal.
Here's your exact workflow for assistive personnel. First, head over to the AZBN license lookup site. Step 2 is your golden rule, okay? Always, always click the Search by Name tab rather than searching by license number. Why? Because license number formats vary widely depending on the specific credential type, and it's literally the #1 cause of search errors. So, enter the first and last name exactly as registered, select the credential type from the dropdown, and hit Search.
When those results pop up, you'll easily be able to see their full legal name, their specific credential classification, whether their status is active, expired, or revoked, and of course, their expiration date. However, just keep in mind that for privacy reasons, things like home addresses, current employers, and the detailed disciplinary case files are excluded from this public view.
Section 4, Leveraging Additional Healthcare Resources. This is all about building a complete picture.
To build a truly comprehensive screening workflow, you use AZBN or nurses to verify their state practice authority. That's step 1. But you should also check the federal OIG, that's the Office of Inspector General, exclusion list.
This tells you if an individual has been banned from participating in federally funded healthcare programs due to fraud or abuse. Additionally, the state maintains AZ CareCheck for verifying a facility's operational status. Combining all of these gives you the most complete, risk-free pre-hire picture possible.
Which brings us to Section 5, troubleshooting common verification issues, or what to do when searches stall out.
If you've ever hit search, stared at a no results found screen, and felt that drop in your stomach, you are not alone. It happens all the time. And usually, the applicant isn't lying about their license, it's just a simple search parameter issue.
So, here are the quick fixes. First, double-check that you aren't looking up an RN in the AZBN portal. We talked about that earlier. Second, check for name mismatches. Use the Other Names checkbox in the portal to catch maiden names or hyphenated aliases. Third, switch to a name search if you are accidentally using a license number. And finally, if you see a status of UCNA, which stands for Uncertified Nursing Assistant, that simply means the candidate finished their training program, but they haven't passed their state exams yet, so they cannot legally perform clinical duties yet.
Let's wrap up the main steps with Section 6, Expert Insights and Compliance. These are some fantastic pro tips specifically for employers.
If you are an employer, doing these manual checks just isn't enough because a license status is highly dynamic. Instead, you can actually upload your entire RN and LPN roster right into the Nurses e-Notify system. It's a completely free automated service that cross-references your staff list against daily regulatory updates. If a license approaches expiration or receives any disciplinary action, boom, you get an automatic, real-time alert. It's an absolute game changer for institutional risk management.
But a quick word of caution. Pulling these records for employment isn't a free-for-all. You absolutely must adhere to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, or FCRA. That means you have to obtain prior written authorization from the nurse before you pull these periodically updated records. And if you take an adverse employment action based on that data, you have to provide them with a copy of the report, along with a summary of their rights.
I also really have to mention a major scam alert going around right now. The National Council of State Boards of Nursing warns of spoofed calls where scammers pretend to be board staff or law enforcement and they demand immediate payment to prevent a license suspension. Listen closely. The state board will never call and ask for financial information over the phone. Never. Always verify any disciplinary claims independently using the free online portals.
Now, as a quick disclaimer, we want to empower you with this structured guide so you can navigate the Arizona system with total confidence. But please remember, as a best practice for diligent professionals, this explainer provides general guidance. You should always verify your specific situations with legal or professional advisors, as regulations and portal interfaces definitely can and do change.
Taking these steps, knowing the right portal, searching by name, combining state and federal checks, and using automated tools like e-Notify guarantees peace of mind and totally protects the credibility of your healthcare organization. Don't let an outdated paper card be the reason you face a massive compliance issue.
We've seen how simple a digital verification can be and how devastating a missed suspension is for patient safety. So, ask yourself, is your organization currently relying on a single piece of outdated paper? Are you one hire away from a compliance nightmare? Verify those credentials today. And hey, if you have your own verification tips or any follow-up questions, leave them in the comments below. Thanks for joining us, Explainer, and we'll catch you next time.